Hello everyone, and now welcome to a 2v2 matchup taking place here on Hillsbrad Creek. CaSpeND and CoopeR are spawning as the red team, as the red orc, and also as the red human. They're going to be going up against Rav3n and Miezhiko. This is a dual undead team, as a dual undead team could have a lot of very strange consequences, as we're opening up with a crypt and a graveyard first. No Altar of Darkness, no Ziggurat, so I am interested to see what particular strategy is being executed by this undead player here. Many times undead strategies need a lot of gold, and we are seeing pretty much a mirror build off on the other side of the map by the other undead. So teal undead having very similar strategies, opening up Altar of Darkness, Crypt, no, and take it back, Tomb of Relics, no graveyard. So it looks like ghouls and crypt fiends, at least for the early portion of the game. Hi there, Crota. How are you today? I am doing all right. Just trying to keep myself together. Hopefully, get a little bit more energy today. Yesterday was a tiring day at work, and just trying to deal with trying to keep this hobby alive and well, making sure that there is reasons. There's enough reason for me to wake up early, lose an hour of sleep, and cast games for you. It's I don't know. When people told me when you're in college, you're gonna really feel when you're 25, you're really gonna feel when you're 30, you're really gonna feel when you're 35, and so far all of those statements have not been true. But wow, 40, I definitely do feel a difference after turning 40. So I'll leave it at that. Slow. I don't think my metabolism's slowed, but I definitely do have a little bit less energy, and I guess also have more things that I'm expected to do, which makes things a little bit tiring. Anyways, probably depends on the person. Yeah, that and when your metabolism changes is a big deal, but I'll definitely say I do feel a different. I do feel 40 a little bit differently. Anyways, coming back around here, Archmage gonna try to go after this Rock Golem creep camp. Water Elemental already moving forward there. Militia now trying to make their way back across, trying to surround that Rock Golem. Doesn't want it to get in too many boulder stuns there. And now the Water Elemental purposely trying to lose aggro, and taking down that Stone Golem there. All right, Golem is going to get taken down. Claws of Attack +9 going to try and get picked up, as we are looking at a little bit of bonus damage by that Archmage. Peasants are already turning back into Militia, and as so can only really set up a scout farm here to try and hire up some additional mercenaries. Peasants are looking to retreat back. You can see a lot of damage onto that poor guy right there, down to 13 hit points. He will end up surviving. Level 2 now on the Archmage of CaSpeND. Off on the other side of the map, we are looking at Crypt Fiends making their way down. Farseer, impale onto the Farseer. Farseer down to 70 hit points. Is it going to be able to escape? It looks like it will be able to do exactly that, as the undead Rav3n, looking to try and find some damage onto the target, unable to do so, but he has to be careful. His opponent could be coming in from the north at any time, as he does have his back and front relatively surrounded. He could actually get caught in a relatively difficult spot. Death Knight now making its rounds here. Farseer at 65 hit points. You can see, Sounder is actually, or not Sound, Raven's actually purposely pulling back into a position where the Death Knight can just come in from behind, get in a little bit of damage, and then perhaps get off that Death Coil. In comes the ghouls from the far side here. There's a little bit of damage. Death Knight now coming in from the other side, and it looks as though the Farseer may actually be able to find a way to escape here. Death Knight, Death Coil, and the Scroll of Town Portal used in time. I mentioned this before. Orc, perhaps one of the few races that can actually afford to burn a Scroll of Town Portal early, as the Voodoo Lounge does train or does sell those healing salves and clarity potions. Pretty much only 33 gold in order to get your Farseer back up to decent hit points, and with that be able to rinse and repeat that strategy. Off to the north here, we are looking at the undead already setting up an expansion, but then again, What is CaSpeND doing? CaSpeND not doing anything here. Only that's his main base, only at tier 1 though. No sign of an expansion coming in from the human player, as CaSpeND looking to use water elementals to clear out a creep camp, and he's going to get caught wide in the open and a potential creep jack situation. All right, Farseer needs to get back into the fight here. Undead going to be able to recharge a little bit more, as the undead player of CaSpeND able to easily clear out this Ogre Mauler creep camp once it was started by his opponent. All right, Farseer trying to test the waters once more, perhaps get in a little bit of damage, perhaps steal a bit of experience. Are we going to see that steal? No, we are not. Instead, level 3 on that Crypt Lord, Tome of Intelligence being left behind there. There's a little bit of damage onto a skeletal minion, but the Farseer cannot, needs to actually deal some lasting damage, as we see the expansion now from CaSpeND, or the expansion attempt getting shut down already. All right, trying to rack up a little bit more damage. There goes another Ghoul Acolyte now trying to retreat away. Nerubian Tower is going to be coming online, and here we are. Farseer Archmage, there's not that many footmen. Death Coil saves the Crypt Lord. Crypt Lord still has a potion of greater healing, so it's not in that big of a danger of actually falling, as we see some abolished magic there. Archmage backing himself into a corner, not going to be able to stay alive. There's a beautiful Scroll of Town Portal, as we see, well, is the Death Coil actually going to target him suddenly? All right, I don't know the travel distance. It looked like, yep, there's the Death Coil, but it does not work. All right, so the Death Coil took a left turn, but I guess lost all of its effectiveness before doing much there. All right, Farseer trying to engage. Farseer trying to engage against a couple of ghouls, and perhaps try to shut down CoopeR's mining, not CoopeR's mining, Miezhiko's mining off to the north. We see that the expansion attempt by Rav3n is once again underway, and we still don't have any expansion attempts by CaSpeND at all. Tech to tier 2 has now been started and nearly completed. Fast tech to tier 2 by CoopeR is now opening into Wyverns, perhaps allowing him to try and poke down some of those ghouls and burst them down, but he really wants also those Envenom Spears to allow them to deal a bit more damage. All right, Ogre Warrior going to get taken down. There goes another one here. Forest Troll going to get taken out here. Forest Troll Shadow Priest going to fall, as the Archmage is getting closer to level 4. Army of Undead coming in straight through the middle, perhaps going to try and push pressure here, and this is going to be, well, ripe for the picking. Undead Army may be able to walk on in, as there is really not much here going on. All right, we are looking at perhaps a couple of militia trying to engage and defend against this location. Death Knight able to easily kill off one peasant there. Death Knight still needs quite a bit more mana and experience to continue with all of this pressure here, as the Panda now coming across. There's another Death Coil just air mailing all of that damage continually. Farms are getting taken down. Meanwhile, off to the north, Undead is clearing out some difficult creep camps as well. Meanwhile, Archmage and Panda are in the center portion of the map. No Scroll of Town Portal available, but CoopeR comes in to save his partner and revealing that he has already Wind Riders. Tauren Chieftain opening things up. It looks like he has Stomp, doesn't have Endurance or yet. Archmage perhaps picking up some, well, powerful items. Also has Rune Bracers. Panda doesn't have that Scroll of Town Portal, so this is going to be a very aggressive push by the Orc and Human team. Wind Riders now making their way over, and there is no tower. Necropolis now trying to tech the tier 2, and that is going to be a problem. Ghouls are now trying to retreat back. There's going to be another ghoul getting taken down, and what is actually happening here? If they actually had Scrolls of Town Portal to retreat back out, they could actually venture forth and perhaps try and shut down in that backfield. As it stands right now, that would be too much of an overcommitment, as a big Frost Nova blasts down that Forest Troll. All right, Web now already researched by those Crypt Fiends, as that Wind Rider is going to get taken down pretty quickly. There it goes back up into the air, though, able to survive as more web is being thrown down onto the Wind Riders back onto the side here. Tauren Chieftain gets in a big, beautiful Chain Lightning to stop the Death Coil from saving, as the ghouls are now pushing back in the other way. Level 4 on the Crypt Lord. Wind Riders are getting poked down. Ghouls just trying to swarm all over the place. Perhaps we're looking to get in some stomps as well. The Panda needs to figure out where he's trying to engage. There's a nice big breath of fire, but still relatively low on mana. Tauren Chieftain now sitting at level 2. There goes another stomp right there, trying to finish off some of these Crypt Fiends, as the Crypt Fiends could end up taking quite a bit of damage. 1 or 2 more shots. Wind Rider trying to finish things off, but it's going to get taken down as well. Both sides fighting every which way. Damage is racking up, as the Crypt Fiends are trying to, well, figure out their proper positioning. Undead now in a big bit of retreat, Ring of Regeneration on that Crypt Lord, keeping him alive and well, as it is now down, pretty much down to the heroes here, and I'm trying to engage in this all-out battle. Human with a bunch of forest trolls, am able to put in a lot more pressure than expected, but it is still 3 base undead compared to 2 base orc and human. Stronghold now researching pillage as well. Hit and run tactics could be coming back on alive, as the economic advantage could end up just turning into a hero level advantage for the human and orc player. Level 2 on the Farseer, level 2 on the Tauren Chieftain, level 4 solely on the Crypt Lord. Panda is at level 2 as well. So this is a 5-on-2 fight inside of Orc, a 5-on-2 fight here, as we're looking at the engagement getting underway. There goes what Frost Nova there, trying to take down those rather weak Force Troll Shadow Priest, as the Arch or the Death Knight now already being forced to retreat back here. All right, continuing this fight once more. Water Elementals continuing the fight as another swarm of ghouls coming back out. Tauren Chieftain needs quite a bit of mana. Breath of Fire coming in from CaSpeND's Panda, as this fight is still fighting their way through. Are we going to see some stomps here? That is the next question. We saw a lot of ghouls, but the ghouls aren't engaging against the Tauren Chieftain, so the Tauren Chieftain didn't stomp down that many, but it still seems to be enough, as we're still going into more battling here. All right. Are we going to see a stomp? No, that Crypt Fiend is still right there trying to retreat back. Farseer now gets up to level 3. Level 2 Spirit Wolves are on the table, and that extra additional critical strike on ensnared and stunned down Crypt Fiends could cause problems. Meanwhile, Panda still perhaps trying to finish off some more of these units. A Breath of Fire could have taken more down. Sorceress does have slow, but now actually retreating out from the battle here. Death Knight, Farseer, Tauren Chieftain continuing to retreat back. The armies are now trying to engage together. This Tauren Chieftain could have a bit of problems trying to run all the way back home. Does have a scroll of speed, and with the help of some raiders ensnaring down the Death Knight and some of the other heroes, the Tauren Chieftain looks like it will be able to retreat and return back home and heal back up. Very strong play coming in from CoopeR there, knowing when exactly to leave. Meanwhile, CaSpeND, if he gets up to level 3 on that Brewmaster, you better believe level 2 Breath of Fire is going to be on the table and extremely, extremely potent. Level 2 Breath of Fire, well, doubly effective compared to that level 1 variety. And then the Tauren Chieftain may also be able to get to level 3, allowing him to land some bigger stomps. A very nasty 1-2 combination indeed. Level 3 now on the Brewmaster. Archmage sitting at level 4. Could place down some Ivory Towers. There it goes. One poor beetle. It's going to be destroyed, as we are looking at the expansion now getting set up by CaSpeND. Meanwhile, back in the center portion of the map, Death Knight being forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal, getting caught away from home, as the Forest Troll Berserkers are going to be giving level 3 to that Tauren Chieftain. All right, double level up for the red team here. CoopeR getting a level up on the Tauren Chieftain, level 3 now on that Panda. And with that said, well, what is the Undead team going to do? Undead team, well, second hero is going to be a Crypt Lord, or Dreadlord, excuse me. So Dreadlord coming across here, and well, perhaps with Vampiric Aura Sleep could be able to try and shut down that Tauren Chieftain if it tries to venture forth a bit too far. Picking up a Potion of Greater Healing, that will be a nice item there. Expansion attempt could be underway. Scroll of Town Portal, perhaps trying to move all the way back to the other side here. No Scroll of Town Portal as of yet. Early Breath of Fire, but really didn't deal that much damage, only hitting that Crypt Fiend there, as we see some Frost Novas go down. Tauren Chieftain right in the center. There's a giant stomp there. Panda could follow it up with a Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire stomp, and Chain Lightning bouncing through. Tauren Chieftain throws down another stomp there amongst a bunch of units. There goes an Impale, as the Tauren Chieftain now throws down a third and final stomp before having to retreat back. The Dreadlord's Carrion Swarm, though, ripping through many of these units here, racking up quite a bit of damage. You can see suddenly CoopeR's army is actually rather low, and he needs mana. Obsidian Statues are going to be the key point here if the enemy heroes are able to continue to blast off all of those powerful spells. Archmage sitting at level 5 goes for level 3 Brilliance Aura instead of level 3 Water Elementals, as there is just too many heroes to try and keep alive. Brewmaster transferred over the Runed Bracers to try and shake off any death coils there, as the army units are still trying to retreat back. Meanwhile, off to the north here, the Raiders are going to be doing hit and run tactics onto the other buildings while still getting a bit of gold. Expansion is up and operational here. Buildings are going to end up getting taken down. Tauren Chieftain doesn't have that much mana, as we're looking at well, a couple of ensnares already. All right, just trying to get gold away. Are we going to see the Death Knight perhaps blast away and get some damage onto some of these units? There's some ensnares as well. Tauren Chieftain down to 258 hit points, still needs to retreat back, as the Potion of Invulnerability used just in time to shake off that last bit of damage. Expansion off to the north, the second expansion by the Undead. Archmage purposely backing away, allowing the Brewmaster perhaps to get to level 4. Level 4 Brewmaster, level 2 Drunken Brawler is going to be used over over Drunken Haze most likely, as those critical strikes and that evasion does give him a little bit more survivability. All right, dual Rune Bracers. I do not believe, actually, I do believe they stack, but whether or not you want to spread them out is the better question. Coming back through, well, Spell or Destroyers now continuing to move back around. Well, apparently CoopeR needs a little bit of additional gold there, as we're making our ways around here. Raiders getting ready off to the north. You can see Spirit Wolves attempting to, well, scout out and perhaps put pressure on this expansion before it becomes operational. Down into the south here, fortified reinforced defenses on those burrows and the watchtowers, enough to keep the Crypt Fiends and those destroyers at bay. Meanwhile, a 2v1 fight happening in the top here. Surround onto the Farseer. Farseer could have a bad day. Trying to staff a teleportation out, does not make it. Ends up getting taken down, so the Tauren Chieftain now having to fight by his lonesome self. Scroll of Town Portal could have been used, trying to finish off some of these other units here. Tauren Chieftain now continuing this battle here, as we could see some, well, yes, Bat Riders trying to take down those destroyers and doing exactly that. Continuing this battles here, well, Priests need to heal up many of those Raiders and a bunch of these lower hit point units. Tauren Chieftain going to be coming back across here. Scroll of Healing used. There is a giant stomp, and now down goes the Dreadlord as well. Crypt Lord still alive on the other side, doesn't have that much mana and is completely separated from all of those other units. Priests are actually getting, well, raked from behind in that backline position, as we're seeing destroyers getting destroyed as well. All right, getting fought on both sides, but that Crypt Lord pretty much in a very dangerous spot, trying to figure out a way to survive. Even a little bit of blight as home field advantage is not going to translate into very much. All right, Ensnare now going down. This one Crypt Lord really has nowhere to go except to try and use a Scroll of Town Portal to head back home. Unsummoning of the Haunted Gold Mine and the Necropolis already started, as these buildings will get taken down. Beautiful fight by CaSpeND and CoopeR, playing extremely well, as they're still, well, working together a bit better, even though they lost that Farseer early on in that fight. Farseer waiting to get resurrected, about 80% done, and will be making the long trek out across the battlefield. All right, large number of ghouls, and really, Raven cannot continue to just try and crank out ghouls, not when the enemy heroes are that high level. And if it was just the Tauren Chieftain's level 2 Stomp, that would be scary enough, but you also now have level 3 Breath of Fire, and level 3 Breath of Fire could cause major problems. There's a Carrion Swarm, though. How are all the ghouls of Raven able to just come in from behind and then rake everything? That was a complete misplay, trying to dive in after the front line, not realizing that the ghouls are very high DPS units as well, especially against those exposed units in the back. Vampiric Aura also keeping those ghouls alive, and suddenly CaSpeND completely surrounded and unable to really have directional damage, is having problems. Tauren Chieftain trying to go after the enemy heroes, and this may be a bit of a problem by CaSpeND and CoopeR. They tried to go after the enemy heroes a bit more, and are now finding themselves in a little bit of a strange spot, as those ghouls are going to try and, well, heal back up. All right, enemy heroes are relatively low on hit points, but until the hero dies, they are still very, very effective. As you can see, the Tauren Chieftain now trying to retreat back here. All right, now here comes the back. Farseer gets taken down. There's the Scroll of Town Portal. Tauren Chieftain going to get blasted, And that is what I was concerned about, trying to focus down the enemy heroes, thinking that you had the victory in hand and trying to take down those higher priority targets and not protecting your back line. And suddenly CaSpeND and CoopeR needed to retreat as all of their own casters, those priests and the sorceresses that were the glue holding that army together, ended up falling. Well, the ghouls would have been bad if the Tauren chieftain and the panda stayed back. There was a swarm of ghouls just right next to the Tauren chieftain and the panda. No stomp went down on them. No level 3 breath of fire. And without that, if those had just gone down, that battle would have gone completely differently. CoopeR would have been able to stun down those units, 5-second stun, or 4-second stun, I believe. The Breath of Fire would have taken out a significant portion of their hit points, and that battle would have just been gone in a completely different way. All right, Fly Machines, all of those units now looking to retreat back once more. No, well, not... They have AoE. They're not using their AoE effectively here. And now 31 supply, 48 supply, going up against 53 supply and 44 supply. So Undead now has a supply advantage, even though economically speaking, we are about even. Now, at this stage, I am expecting CaSpeND and CoopeR to bounce back, reassess their situations, and then perhaps be able to push with their superior hero levels. And that is the next strategy that I am expecting from these guys with their superior levels and being able to shut down the enemy army. All right, Farseer is about to pop on out, sitting at level 4. We're looking at a level 5 Death Knight, level 3 Lich. Units are still making their way down. Lich most likely has the Orb of Corruption. Don't see a third hero though, as we are at the Black Citadel on both sides. All right, Tauren Chieftain Death Coil shakes off, was able to be shaken off. There's a Frost Nova on to some of those Wind Riders, and now trying to escape away. Couple of quick webs, and now that will be free 8 supply for CoopeR, or not for, given by CoopeR, as well. Miezhiko is looking to just continue to build that advantage. Tauren Chieftain able to heal back up, but he is really still suffering quite a bit of damage. 35 supply over 62. All right, CaSpeND now pushing off on the other side, perhaps trying to do a little bit of a base trade scenario, pushing on through here, and the Panda's Breath of Fire is in a different position, not quite worth it. There's Scroll of Town Portal. Where is it going to go? Going to try and engage, and here you are, big Frost Nova straight across the bat, and now here we are, Fly Machines trying to go after all of those destroyers. Carry on for him. There's that giant stomp that I was expecting earlier, but the Tauren Chieftain, Scroll of Healing to try and stay alive. Priest trying to stay alive. There's a giant stomp there, and a beautiful Scroll of Healing used by the Undead just in time as well. It looked like one Chain Lightning was all that was needed to try and finish off all of those units, as we see now a Locust Swarm coming in from the Crypt Lord. Crypt Lord essentially acting like a carrier with all of those interceptors and pulling out and dealing massive amounts of damage. Tauren Chieftain trying to get back into the fray, but he is very, very low on hit points. He could easily get taken down. Chain Lightning now bouncing across here, as the Tauren Chieftain no longer having any real healing going on except for a potion of healing there. All right, units are still trying to engage here. Undead moving out across the battlefield together. Are we looking at every Undead hero? Yeah, every starting Undead hero out on the battlefield here. Death Knight, Lich, and then Crypt Lord, Dreadlord. Dreadlord sitting at level 1. I thought there was a higher level Dreadlord. Yeah, no, there is a higher level Dreadlord. Where is it? Was it taken down? As we see now double Dreadlords out here onto the battlefield. All right, more peons getting destroyed here. Breath of Fire trying to hit across the backside, as the Wind Riders are invisible and looking to perhaps poke down some of these units. Tauren Chieftain could try and get in a giant stomp here somewhere. Control Magic now turning things back around, as those Control Magic are not going to be turning those beetles. All right, invisibility being used very, very aggressively by CaSpeND and CoopeR to try and save some of those low hit point units, but that also means that the destroyers are able to devour magic randomly across the field and regenerate some hit points. Death Knight gets up to level 6. There's a stomp, as the Panda trying to finish off that Crypt Lord down to 600 hit points, as he's able to get a Scroll of or Death Coil in time. Level 4 Dreadlord back out onto the battlefield. Death Knight on the other side being forced to retreat back here, and he is able to retreat. All right, that last set of battles have gone both ways. Beautiful, beautiful fighting. a little bit of a panic use of that Scroll of Town portal. He did get healed, but then again, perhaps he got healed after he initiated the Scroll of Town portal, saving that level 6 Crypt Lord. Losing a level 6 Crypt Lord is a very, very heavy replacement, and also that additional experience given to your opponent is perhaps would have been enough to get the Panda to level 6. All right, Panda at level 6 would have been extremely scary. Meanwhile, Archmage does have mass teleport. It will be able to move around the map very, very effectively, as we're looking at Militia now making their way off to the north, perhaps to try and set up an expansion. CoopeR's expansion down to the south, however, gonna fall. Level 2 Carrion Swarm simply ripping through right there, as that Dreadlord looking strong as well. All right, Vampiric Aura keeping some of these the Abominations and all of these units alive, able to use Abominations to spread that disease cloud, just because, well, his partner is also undead. All right, great 2v2 matchups. Great fight in the center here. Storm or a Stomp right in the middle, and that is perhaps going to take down the Dreadlord. Dreadlord able to back away. Carrion Swarm ripping through. Chain Lightning continuing to back around, and the Wind Riders able to unable to poke down the Dreadlord. Dreadlord able to use a potion of healing in time. All right, Tauren Chieftain trying to throw down a Stomp. However, the Wind Riders are still trying to chase after the unit there. Is that an overcommitment again, as we're looking at the remaining units still fighting back on the other side? Lich trying to, well, perhaps pick up those units. Dreadlord falls at level 4, as the units are going to be engaging here. All right, Unlucky Ensnare, as CaSpeND gets a Spellbreaker ensnared here, could easily get, well, absolutely destroyed. Why is that Spellbreaker not getting engaged? No, instead going after all of those other remaining units, as the Flying Machine's now trying to dive in after the Destroyers. All right, Wind Riders continuing the attack. Death Knight gets stunned down to 200 hit points, down to 100. Chain Lightning as the Scroll of Town portal used in time, and with that invulnerability, both of them retreating back out of a dangerous situation, and it looks like CaSpeND and CoopeR, well, win the battle for now. 57 supply, 23 supply, going up against 40 supply and 46 supply. Pretty even overall, as we see, I guess, a mass teleport heading off to the north to try to set up an expansion. All right. Panda sitting at level 6. Earthstorm and Fire is available. Dual level 6 heroes coming across from CaSpeND. Meanwhile, CoopeR sitting at 2 level 5 heroes wanting to get to level 6. And now, well, the other side, Rav3n now looking to haunt the gold mine down to the south here and, well, exchange expansions, so to speak. Crypt Lord at level 6, Death Knight at level 6. That is level 3 Unholy Aura for that faster movement speed. Coming back around, Peons are going to be making their way over, only to see that there are a bunch of Acolytes already here, ready to, well, start haunting this gold mine. Mass Teleport could come online here to try and take down that base already, as Breaths of Fire are now coming across. Main gold mines are already mined out, so it is only expansion gold mines that are operational. All right, more buildings getting taken down. Tauren Chieftain in that frontline spot. Archmage still pushing their way through. Water Elementals, well, bases are going to get taken down here, as the Peons are perhaps fighting against these Acolytes. Once the Blight is down, though, are the Peons going to be able to fight back against the Acolytes? You just need Blight, and suddenly they are regenerating hit points at such a fast level. More battling coming back across off to the north. And looking to finish off more units. Dispel Magic taking out many of those units. There's a giant stomp there, as the units are now trying to retreat back. The ultimate ability, they do not want to fight against it, as the Crypt Lord is now just continuing to chase after all of those units. No Impale to, well, force an engagement here, but faster movement speed by the Death Knight. Still quite a big toll, as you see dual Carrion Swarms and Locust Swarms finishing off an entire section of that back line. More engagement, level 7 now on that Crypt Lord. More Carrion Swarm ripping through. That Carrion Swarm is adding up more and more, and once the army gets stationary, Obsidian Statues will be able to provide mana as well as hit points, and this fight is just going to go even more. Here's this battle now. Crypt Lord, well, the Carrion or the Locust Swarm has come to an end, but there's plenty of Abominations in that frontline spot. Farseer is actually in a rather difficult location, down to 155 hit points. Scroll of Town portal forced to be used, as we see Earthstorm and Fire by CaSpeND. Archmage continuing this battle here. CaSpeND CaSpeND and CoopeR are in a bit of trouble, as this Abomination Force trying to push on through could be able to get in a large amount of damage. Meanwhile, the Farseer was a bit too far away. Stafflower, no, Mass Teleport trying to come back around, and that's going to easily finish off that last beetle. Farseer down to 59 hit points, needs to get healed back up, as the main base could now have a bit of problems. Destroyers and the undead should be able to take down the main base if they want to. Meanwhile, back down to the south, the expansion, undead expansion, is going to be forced to be canceled, as we are now looking at 2 bases to 0, as the undead loses their expansion, their starting expansion. This gold mine, about 5 or 4.5 minutes left. This northern gold mine still having plenty of gold, and it may come down to Mass Teleport being the big difference, being able to be everywhere they want to be and defend where they defend with their army. But do remember, CaSpeND cannot Mass Teleport and take CoopeR along with him. So if it's a 2v1 fight, like it would be off here at the north, well, that is going to be a bit of a problem. All right, CaSpeND losing quite a bit of gold here. Meanwhile, we're looking at this expansion, which has already been cleared out, not really worth forcing a try and takeover at all. If there were raiders or grunts that perhaps get a bit of damage and get a bit of gold back, that would be another thing entirely. All right, only 3.5 minutes of mining left. A little bit of long distance mining left from this somewhat close gold mine, as CaSpeND is looking to finish off all of the buildings just in case it turns into a base race scenario. Archmage continuing to take down Necropolises here. Farseer looking to, well, finish off the Black Citadel down to the south, as the Farseer just looking to poke in a little bit of damage on those buildings. Only has the Farseer and these 2 peons. That is it, unable to do anything else, as sorceresses are joining in on the fight here. Mass Teleport, where are they going to travel to next? Traveling to the middle portion of the battlefield, perhaps to try and stop the expansion once more. All right, what are these? Oh, okay, some golem creep camps that could be cleared up, perhaps get a little bit of gold, perhaps get some nice items as well. And here we are going into the battle. Boulder onto all of these units. Invisible Priest gonna wander around the field, perhaps for a Mass Teleport to beacon, as that water elemental taking quite a bit of damage. Spellbreakers finishing off the rock golem. There goes one. We are just looking for the gold and the items that will be dropped here, as both heroes are already at level 6. Another boulder hitting once again. Priest still wandering around here, as the main base of CaSpeND is now under a bit of distress, as it could easily get taken down. All right, Granite Golem gonna end up falling here. What is the item gonna be? Cloak of Flames. All right, Cloak of Flames, Claws of Attack +9 on that panda. Meanwhile, Farseer still looking to run around, as we do see a couple of beetles, well, swarming down to these peons and preventing a bit of long distance mining. There goes another acolyte once more. No unsummoning here, and this base, or this haunted gold mine, will end up being lost. Farseer still racking up a little bit of damage, but the Farseer does not have Earthquake. Earthquake would completely change the pacing of the game, and in comes that Mass Teleport. Farseer able to, well, act as that homing beacon and bring the fight to where it is. If CaSpeND and CoopeR work together, yes, cast invisibility onto the Farseer and allow the Farseer to run somewhere else. Once that Farseer is somewhere else, once the army comes back in, you can then work together once more. That Farseer has a faster movement speed than most other units, and, well, you're just trying to fight an army that seems to be everywhere all at once. Looking to finish off more of these units here. Mass Teleport, there you are. There's that Mass Teleport trying to pull back away. There it is, off to the north side, and a little bit of damage to rack up. The Nerubian Tower going to get taken down. The Spirit Tower is there, but the problem is going to be a Scroll of Town portal inside the base. Archmage already using the Scroll of Town portal to head back out. Panda could try and get a couple of breaths of fire off. Does get a breath of fire off. Finishes off the Ziggurat there, as the units are now looking to retreat back. Meanwhile, where is the Farseer? Farseer already retreated back. Tauren Chieftain was resurrected, and we have a game on our hands once more. All right, one scout tower off behind there. Meanwhile, Spellbreaker, you cannot allow any units to just be anywhere on the map. Otherwise, you could see a giant army, the entire human army right there in an instant. Peons off to the side, hiding a little bit here, as we're still, well, getting a little bit of mining. Well, no more mining any longer. We are looking at 51 supply and 10 supply going up against 43 supply and 33 supply. Yes, are you? Oh, okay. All right. Coming back around. Well, very close game on both sides. Mass Teleport really going to be the ultimate ability that is keeping CaSpeND and CoopeR in this matchup, but they cannot just rely on it alone. The Undead Army is still rather scary in those Abominations and these Destroyers. All right, Death Knight sitting at level 6, Dreadlord sitting at level 3, Lich sitting at level 5. The Undead Heroes rather strong. Cryptlord at level 7, and Dreadlord is at level 5. So, well, all you need is an Impale, Carrion Swarm, and a Death Coil, and suddenly your army is just absolutely in danger. All right, red creep camp gonna get taken out. War Song battle drums given as an item. Did the panda pick it up? Yes. So the panda now walking around with Cloak of Flames, giving a damage bonus to the entire human orc army. And what is this? Mass teleport coming back around. Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer are now trying to clear out the remainder of this creep camp. Instead, where did they go? They teleported off to the north and are now going to go after that last creep camp off to the north, that last red creep camp, to try and grab in all of these just very powerful items. All right, Spellbreakers in that frontline position, able, well, without one Spellbreaker, don't lose a Spellbreaker to a creep, man. Don't lose, yeah, there he goes. Pulling back all of those lower hit point Spellbreakers, getting a little bit of distance, as there is only one priest trying to keep this entire army alive. All right, CaSpeND needs to train up more priests, but he currently cannot do so as there's a bunch of beetles infesting his base right now. All right, peons or peasants now making their way back. Are we going to see this last Granite Golem get it taken down? And yes, it is a Helm of Valor. There's that mass teleport heading back home. He needs to get a couple of priests. Once he gets those priests, oh, control magic, getting all of these beetles. Once he gets a couple of priests trained back up, he should be able to heal up his army. There's only one priest trying to deal with, well, the disease cloud of the undead. Come on, train up some priests. All right, nope, I guess not. CaSpeND mass teleports back off to the north here. Both sides, armies are trying to fight with each other. The problem is that CoopeR's Farseer and Tauren Chieftain are often just out of position, respectively, with the remainder of the human army. All right, there goes an obsidian statue. Is that going to be worth it? No, apparently it is not. Going to go ahead and try and take down all of these buildings here, taking down the ziggurats and, well, the ziggurat and also these altars of darkness. Base trading scenario time. Peasants trying to repair. Having one or two additional priests would have been the big difference here, as CaSpeND's army is still, well, needs quite a bit of healing to get through this. All right, continuing the fight. Oh, there's a priest down over here that is still invisible, as the Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer looking to, well, continue to work together. Is there, yes, a mass teleport back off to the north. There goes an Impale, and we're fighting once again. Brewmaster could get in some big damage. There's some Breath of Fire. Carrion Swarm ripping through. Spellbreakers absorbing a lot of that damage, as the Archmage now using the Scroll of Town Portal to get away. Water Elemental going to get taken down. Are we going to see any other level ups? No, we are not, as still Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer are looking to take down the remainder of these buildings. Staff, or was this mass teleport just jumping all over the place, getting beetles? Are we going to train up some more priests? No, not enough gold any longer. There is still a priest off over here. It is now visible, but it is just trying to hide out of sight. Coming back down to the south here, this base trading game is still up in the air for anyone to take. Army once more teleporting down and now going to be going after this rock golem creep camp, getting in a little bit of additional gold and perhaps trying to close out this game with perhaps even better items. Off to the north here, couple of beetles, just, well, control magic beetles keeping track of their opponents and now looking to retreat back again. All right, Granite Golem taken down. Tome of Agility. What is the item this time around? Well, can't quite tell. Is it on the panda? No, not on the panda. Tauren Chieftain? No. Archmage. No. Oh, Claws of Attack plus... Nope, that's Claws of Attack plus 9. Django Endurance Aura. Alright, Endurance Aura, not the item looked for. Alright, Death Coil, Frost Nova, and Carrion Swarm onto that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain still trying to fight back in the other way. Panda could perhaps try to get some breaths of fire across multiple units, getting in a little bit of damage. Destroyer not coming back around. The Destroyers really causing a problem as we see Frost Nova hitting down onto that Priest. Priest is going to get blasted down with no problem whatsoever. Alright, Tauren Chieftain and Farseer trying to retreat back here. Both sides are engaging. Nothing to really get some damage onto that Destroyer. Orb of Fire not available, and we're trying to try and engage here. Tauren Chieftain trying to push together Farseers, trying to deal with those air units and back. They're just trying to engage back and forth again and again. Farseer, Tauren Chieftain still working together, trying to wander around here as a couple of Spirit Wolves looking to take down more buildings. All right, these Shadow Wolves in the end may become the ultimate defining factor, as they've been able to deal so much damage consistently to these buildings, as they're kind of just these throwaway summonable units. All right, Mass Teleport is beyond. Mass Teleport is a very game-winning ultimate ability. Yes, I do agree. I don't know if I would say it's beyond broken, as Archmage gets up to level 7. What ended up dying to actually get level 7? Perhaps a couple more beetles right there. Tome of Intelligence not picked up. There is another Mass Teleport once again heading off to the far side of the map. All right, base trading time. We're looking at more and more buildings about to fall down. This crypt is going to fall down here. No reason to try and even make your way down to it. 15 seconds. The cooldown is a bit short. I will agree on that. There is, a sleep there. There is a Staff of Teleportation. There is an Impale, and in comes the inbound army. We're going to perhaps have a fight for the ages here. Breath of Fire onto the buildings to try and finish off all the remaining buildings. There's only 3 buildings left. There goes in another Stomp as the damage is starting to rack back up. Both sides are fighting their way through. Panda, in comes the Locust Swarm. Tauren Chieftain continuing. There's a giant Stomp right there trying to finish off perhaps the Locust, the Crypt Lord, and also that Obsidian statue. All right, Chain Lightning bouncing around, but I think a Death Coil did go down. No, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and the Crypt Lord with Invulnerability regaining those hit points as the Locust is just going out to devour and regenerating those hit points again. Tauren Chieftain still fighting its way through down to 400 hit points. Is he going to be able to break free? He's currently invisible and still fighting their way through, as Carrion Swarm still ripping through as well. Farseer needs to find a way to get some damage in. The Destroyers are still living up to their name, taking down so much, as the Archmage is going to be forced to try and retreat. All right, Invisible Heroes may be the big difference there. And could you imagine the devastation of a random Devour magic on all of those units there? All right, Animate Dead, why the heck not? Could have been used earlier, but now they are going to try and walk out across the field and actually deal some damage. Earthstorm and Fire Archmage here. Invisibility. There no more Priest for any more healing, as the beetles are still poking away at the buildings down to the south. There are a couple of towers here, making it difficult for the Destroyers to try and take down these buildings, as the Spellbreakers and Ghouls, the Animate Dead Spellbreakers and Ghouls, looking to finish off these units down to the south. All right, Wolves, all right, trying to get damage onto those units. Carrion Swarm missing right there. Where are they going to perhaps go? Trying to attack the other side as well. And there are those Wolves just constantly attacking and being able to get in just a little bit more damage. Tauren Chieftain, if it had retrained to Shockwave, could easily take down the last couple of these buildings here, and I think this is going to be the end. CaSpeND and CoopeR should be able to finish off the last remaining undead buildings here. There's only, 800 hit points between these two buildings, and once those are gone, well, that is going to be a different issue. All right, 455 Panda going all in, going after those buildings here. Level 4 now on the Dreadlord. There's this building down to the south. Going to finally get taken down. One more shot. And, well, this is the last building, and that is the defeat right there. CaSpeND and CoopeR able to outlast their opponents by taking down every building in a 2v2 matchup. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.